The uncle who works for Nintendo. You are 11 years old. What is your best friend's name? My best friend's name? Let's say Michael. Your best friend Michael has invited you to a sleepover at his house this weekend. You've been friends since first grade, so asking your mom is basically only a formality. You've never confirmed this, but you suspect the babysitter may charge extra when there are two kids. You sometimes feel like staying somewhere else is the only way you can help out. Only a formality. On a Friday night, you're home for a few hours, long enough to pack, get in a fight with your younger sister, pack some more, and watch some TV. Oh, so we are staying over at Michael because that's the only way we can help out with financial situation, because babysitter charges double if she's looking over my sis and me. Interesting. At 6 sharp, you're standing on the sidewalk outside Michael's house while your mom idles in her car nearby. She leans out the window to you. You behave yourself, okay? She says as always. I'll be at work, but if anything happens, you call me. Yes, Mom. I'll pick you up tomorrow at 3, she says, again, as usual. But then she pauses, looking up at the sky, which has been overcast throughout the day. If you play outside, she adds, be careful, it's probably gonna rain. Wave goodbye. After you part, your mother drives down the street, disappearing around the corner. You turn back to Michael's house. The lights inside are glowing warmly. You can see Michael waving at you from his bedroom on the 2nd floor. Head inside. Michael's mom meets you just inside. Hello, she says. Dinner will be ready in just a few minutes, but you can drop stuff out in the den. You and Michael are camping out there tonight. Should I call my mom? Nod and go to the den. You drop your sleeping and overnight bags in the corner of the den and then pause to take a look around. Behind the couch, a grandfather clock is ticking softly. Of course. Through a set of patio doors on the far side of the room you can see the sky is just as grey as it was when your mom left. Framed pictures line the walls, and over the dark fireplace hangs a monstrous pair of antlers from a buck that Michael's dad shot years ago. And of course, there is the big screen TV. Sometimes it makes you uncomfortable how much nicer Michael's house is than yours. Anyway, you drop your sleeping bags in the corner of the den. Oh, Michael entered the room while you weren't paying attention. He now stands in the doorway smiling expectantly with his big screen TV. Are you ready for dinner? He asks. Sure. Dinner passes quickly. Tonight's meal is spaghetti and meatballs, one of Michael's favorite meals. As his mother points out while piling a helping on the plates. Michael's father cracks a beer and jovially interrogates you about how much trouble you and Michael are getting into at school. Dessert is heaping bowls of ice cream drizzled in chocolate sauce. You can't even finish yours. The grandfather clocks in the den chimes. Wait, that wasn't a beer at all. That's a glass of lemonade. Why would you even think it was a beer? Michael's father doesn't drink alcohol. You're quite certain of that fact, now that you've remembered it.
Johnny doesn't drink. What are you talking about?
Oh. Well, whatever. Okay, so that's interesting. I remember reading somewhere about how our brain betrays us Like every time we try to think about our memories, they become less accurate, and therefore you can't really recall the events of the past, the events that happened to you in the way they actually happened. There's always something different from how it actually happened or how it actually was there. Was it the blue flower? Was it the red one? Same goes for crayons. That stupid Lordy movie. Now we have something that's changed here. Michael's father sips a lemonade. Alright, the grandfather clock in the den chimes. You go along now, says Michael's mom, smiling from the side of the table. We'll clean up in here. Let's go get the TV ready. You mean the big screen? Says Michael. The two of you leave the dining room and head upstairs. Michael's room is immense. You stay in the den because the TV is larger in there, but there's a sizable one here, flush with the wall opposite the full-sized bed. We'll take the 64 down first, says Michael, heading toward his TV and opening the entertainment center cabinet. So this is the real reason we're hanging out with Michael. It's his prerogative, of course. He gets to choose what you play first, usually. But as Michael begins unhooking the cords of the N64 from the TV, you catch a sight of the other things he has in there. All the major stuff. An old SNES, a PlayStation, a Dreamcast, but some other things too. Things you don't really recognize. A large black box with green highlights. A smaller purple one. A strange white and yellow tower with what looked like gloves resting on hooks on either side. A compact white cone. What are those? Michael looked to the clutter in the cabinet. Oh yeah, he says, they're pretty cool. I can't show them to you though. They're still secret. I promised my uncle. Of course you suddenly remember. His uncle. The uncle who works for Nintendo. In the corner, the grandfather's clock is ticking softly. Oh, okay. Through a nearby set of patio doors, you can see it's getting quite dark. Framed picture line the walls. Michael is parked in front of the large TV, playing something on the Nintendo 64. Think about Michael's uncle. It began with a Mew, the Pokemon. Oh. You didn't believe him at first when Michael came to school one day and told you he had finally caught Mew. That's a lie. Prove it, you said. So he pulled out his Game Boy and showed you. No, the Mew isn't under the truck. There it was. Mew. That motherfucking cheater. The 151st Pokemon available only to players at promotional events. Exactly. Available only to players at promotional events. Michael, you used cheats. Somehow unlocked on Michael's game. It's really strong, he said. It KOs every enemy in one hit. Michael demonstrated his claim at recess when you and some other friends linked Game Boys to do battle. You were the first one down. No one else got in the single hit on Michael's Mew. You asked how Michael managed to get it. No one else. In a few days, everyone had quite... What? In a few days, everyone had quit playing Pokemon at recess. Michael, you son of a... bitch, you ruined Pokemon for us. How could you do it? Why are we still friends? Why are we even hanging out right now? The allure had faded. You ruined everything. Let's ask him how he managed to get it. Oh, my uncle got a job at Nintendo, said Michael. We were walking home together, past one of construction crews. There had been a storm not too long ago. Trees were down all over the town. Buildings had collapsed. You were standing at an intersection with Michael as a truck rumbled by, loaded with ragged tree trunks. What a bad storm. Michael still lived next door to you at the time. Wait, this couldn't have been long ago. When did Michael move? There was something nice about being neighbors. You were welcome to get a residential still lived next door to you at the time. There's something really tricky here going on. This story is not how we... It actually is how we want to remember it, but not how it actually was. He also got me this new Game Boy, said Michael, pulling it out of his pocket. You hadn't noticed it earlier, but yes, Michael now had a sleek new Game Boy Color. Until today, he had one of the old ones, a big grey brick like yours. This one's special edition, said Michael. Isn't it cool? Oh. You agreed. You snap out of your reflections. Okay. Let's watch Michael play. Michael is playing something that looks like a Zelda, but it's not a game you're familiar with. You watch for a while and eventually Michael turns to look at you. Come on, you wanna play? Play co-op. There's a co-op, you ask? Of course, says Michael, handing you a controller. So, what kind of co-op is it in a Zelda game? Is it like those Legend of Zelda 4 Swords games? You don't know the game, but still it seems oddly familiar. He has only to give you a few pointers on how to move the camera. Okay, we'll play through a level or two. The clock chimes. You're in the den. Remember your own Mew. You got your own Mew eventually. Another friend had a Game Shark which you borrowed one day. You spent an entire night unlocking every Pokemon you couldn't obtain in your copy of the game or hadn't yet traded for, including Mew. Oh, so we are even worse than Michael. We are the cheating bastards. It didn't one-hit KO most enemies. It was incredibly weak, and you shamefully cheated the game further to make it strong enough. Oh, at least we know it was shameful to cheat. It even looked different from Michael's. Your Mew was small, even cute, standing there with its round, cheerful eyes. Oh! So, Michael had Mewtwo, right? But when Michael's had wiped out everyone at school, it had looked completely different, compact, snarling, fierce. You asked him why. What? He said. That had been here, in the den. Michael had moved by then, but now, how long was that after this first storm, after he got Mew? You can't remember. Oh, that thing. It has been a while since anyone talked about Pokemon. Well, my uncle got me a special edition Mew, first of all, he said, smirking a little, but not looking away from PlayStation game he was playing. Wait, we were playing N64, Zelda, not PlayStation. That's why mine looked different. Second of all, mine can one-hit KO because it's the real Mew. What? Real Mew? You asked what he meant by that. Just what I said, Michael replied. You cheated and got a fake Mew, so of course there'd be problems, glitches and junk. You felt your cheeks redden. Oh, fuck. But not me, Michael said again. I got the real Mew, and only me. My brother was so jealous. Michael's brother. What about him? Why does he remember that comment? Make you feel uneasy. You snap out of your reflections. Oh, let's sit down, frame pictures. We walk around the perimeter of the den, inspecting pictures idly. Most of them are family portraits from years past. Michael cradled lovingly between his mother and father, or any one of the three on their own. A happy, tidy family. Wait, no, something is wrong here. Where is Michael's brother? You know he has a brother, you know it, except he's not here, in any of the pictures, and you. Think harder about the brother. He was older, not much, 1 or 2 years, a jerk sometimes, but not any more of a jerk than you are to your little sister. When it snowed, your mom would pay him to shovel the sidewalk outside your house. He lived next door. His name was... Remember his name. You can't remember his name. Ask Michael about his brother. Where is your brother tonight? Michael pauses the game he's playing and gives you an odd look. I don't have a brother, he says. But I remember him. There is a long moment of uncomfortable silence, broken only by distant thunder, the Nintendo and the clock ticking. You are such a weirdo, says Michael, and turns back to the Nintendo. Wait, weren't you playing PlayStation right now? You're hopping between consoles too much. The subject, it seems, had been dropped. He dropped the mic, and time passed. Time passed a lot. The clock chimed. You're in the den. Michael's mother busts into the room, holding a large ceramic bowl filled with popcorn under her arm. That sounds like Mario. How are your kids doing? She asks. Good, says Michael, his eyes not moving from the television. I hope you're having fun, says Michael's mother. Here's some popcorn, extra butter. She places it on the floor by Michael. Almost immediately, Michael is shoveling popcorns into his mouth. Meanwhile, his mother smiles at him and then back at you. There's sodas in the kitchen if you get thirsty, she says, and some pizza from the other night if you get hungry. Nod silently. Let's continue the tradition of nodding silently. She looks at Michael. Your friend's gone to bed. I'll be there soon myself. Oh, fuck. She looks at Michael. Your father is gone to bed. I'll be there soon myself. Alright. I want you to keep it quiet. Alright, Mom, Michael said silently. Oh, and before I forget, she adds, your uncle called. He suddenly has some business here in town tomorrow, but he's driving in early. He'll be here around midnight. For the first time, Michael stops playing his game, stops eating popcorns, and turns to look at his mother. Okay, he says. I want you to welcome him in. He'll be very tired and very hungry, so offer him something to eat before he goes to bed. Okay, Mom. Good night, kids. And with that, she's gone. In the corner, the grandfather called. Oh, okay, it's sticking softly, we know. Frame pictures line the walls. Michael is parked on the floor, large TV, and we ask about Uncle's visit. It sounds like he's playing a fighting game now. So, why is your uncle coming? Business, Michael shrugged. But I thought he worked for Nintendo. He does, says Michael, frowning but not looking away from the TV screen. He's really important there. Then what does he have to do here? Michael pauses the game and turns toward you, visibly agitated. How should I know? I don't work for them. Right now, he's not quite yelling, but you think if you keep pressing the subject, he might. Well, sound a lot like yelling to me. I'm not sure I believe you about your uncle. Nah, let's not press the subject. Sorry, I was just curious. You dropped the conversation in silence. In the corner, the grandfather clock is ticking softly. Oh, God, for Christ's sake. Let's call our mom. Evade dodge the bullet while we still can. Passing through the empty dining room, you enter the kitchen where the phone sits on the counter. Call Mom. You dial your mom number and wait. She picks up after 3 rings. Hi Mom, I want to go home. Things are really weird here. I want to go home. Really, honey? She asks. Yes. She sighs heavily. Of course, she says. I'll call the sitter. She'll probably be there in an hour. No, really, I have to go. She hangs up. Oh, God. In an hour? Let's pack our things. Damn that clock! Michael doesn't even look away from the TV as you come in. Announce that you're leaving, or quietly begin gathering up your things. Sure. This draws Michael's attention. What are you doing? He asks. Explain that you're leaving. What? Michael stands up, not even bothering to pause the game. You can't leave. It's almost time. I'm not having fun. But you will, I promise. There's so much stuff I had planned for tonight. I was gonna let you play the next Zelda game, the one that's not even out yet. Before you can say anything, he's already running upstairs. Michael continually runs up and down the stairs, bringing your games and consoles while you pack up your things. Michael is trying too hard at this point. Every time he presents something new, you ignore him or brush it off with an uncaring shrug. Please, Michael says, just stay the night, please. Outside, you hear a car horn honk. No, you say. And with your night bag slung over one shoulder, you march out the front door and exit into the night. As you walk to the sitter's car, you see your little sister back a seat, still in her pajamas. The sitter, a high school girl who lives down the street from you, look incredibly unhappy to be here, but you think you'll be able to handle her. As you climb into the car, you cast one last look over the shoulder back to the house. Michael is standing in the doorway, totally still, not screaming, not crying, not doing much of anything. The car begins to pull away from the house, and as you watch, you see his parents appear in the doorway behind him. Wave. Without acknowledging you, Michael's parents lay their hands on his shoulders. They turn to Michael back into the house, the door closing just as everything slides out of view. When you turn around in your seat to look out of the back window, you can't even see the house's lights. Michael doesn't show up at school on Monday, or Tuesday, or Wednesday. On Thursday, you ask your teacher, Mr. Scott, where Michael is. He blinks at you confusedly. Oh, he says eventually. Michael, well, I'm surprised he didn't tell you about this. He and his family moved away. The house is empty when you ride your bike by that afternoon. It somehow seems even larger without anything or anyone in it. A for sale sign stands in the yard out front. You never see Michael again, and eventually, as the years pass, you forget about him entirely.